What's up, guys? This is Webby, and this is your first edition of the Rivalries discussion that I will be covering. I'm sorry that it's a week late, but I said that I would be doing a Rivalries discussion on Fridays, and this is my first Rivalries discussion. So, what's going on, guys? The first one I'm going to be doing is, oh, hell yeah! Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon. I'm going to start off with a big bang. One of the most epic rivalries in all of wrestling. And I say that because this rivalry transcended wrestling. Yes, it did. It transcended wrestling. It had to do with the WWE Championship. It had to do with pretty much Stone Cold rebelling over everything Mr. McMahon wanting him to do. Before we can even look at this feud, you have to look at the history of Stone Cold Steve Austin and the history of Vince McMahon. Of course, Mr. McMahon, who used to be a ring announcer, commentator, whichever one you want to call them, worked behind the desk alongside people like Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Those characters did color commentating for pay-per-views, primetime wrestling, worked with Jesse Body Ventura, did all the pay-per-views, that kind of stuff. Of course, worked behind the scenes, and no one knew that he was the owner. And he was by far, and if you all would go back and watch, Jason Funny's top 5 color commentators, greatest commentators, Vince McMahon should be up there, not JBL and Michael Cole. So I don't know why he put those two people on there. You can forget that. Vince McMahon should be up there on that. So anyway, he did lots of that type stuff. Of course, Vince McMahon character truly came out, as we all know, once Bret Hart really started becoming a big wine bag. And, of course, we all know the Montreal screw job. And that's when Mr. McMahon was truly born, during the Montreal screw job, when Bret Hart would not put over Shawn Michaels in Canada. Which honestly, in that incident, I don't blame him. Because Shawn Michaels, as we know, was a whined and really was not a team player back then. As we've heard through videos and that type of stuff. So, Mr. McMahon character was born when he did the screw job on Bret Hart. And absolutely turned into one of the greatest heels in the history of business. And we will never see another heel like that again. The authority that we see on TV now is a watered down, pathetic version of that, but can never match up to that. So, Mr. McMahon was born. As far as Stone Cold Steve Austin, you have to go back all the way to the WCW days when he was Stunning Steve Austin, and he was tag team partners with Brian Pillman, and then he was the television champion, and he was floundering around in WCW, not doing anything, Then he got hurt. Then he flipped the bird to WCW. And Eric Bischoff pretty much flipped the bird right back to him and said, "You're fired." Via, I think it was through, I think he sent it through the mail or over the phone or faxed it or something. But yeah, so he got fired. And then he went to work for ECW and did promos, which those were okay. You know, and he really got his craft by working for Paul Heyman. I would give Paul Heyman all the credit in the world for helping Stone Cold with that, because Paul Heyman, I have said before and I'll say it again, is absolute gold on the mic. So, I mean, just absolute gold on the mic. Well, of course, then Austin comes up to the WWF/E, whichever one you want to call it. And he is the ringmaster with $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. And he has a $1 million belt. Probably one of the worst gimmicks I have ever seen. Honestly. $1 Million Man names him the $1 Million Champion. And he's supposed to be a ring technician. One of the great ring technicians. Of course, that all changed at King of the Ring 1996. And that beautiful, awesome promo that Austin cut on Jake the Snake Roberts after he won the King of the Ring. When Austin 316 says, "I just whipped your you know what." From there, as we know, he had great feuds with Bret Hart, The Undertaker in 1997. And of course, 1998 comes around. Mr. McMahon is already born. And the feud is starting off. And boy, was this an epic rivalry. You have Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is red hot, absolutely red hot, best thing on WWE TV. And you have Mr. McMahon, the greatest heel on WWE TV, clashing. Who can forget the time that Mr. McMahon took absolutely the worst stunner? He took a stunner, and instead of falling, he rolled on Austin. And I do believe that was the time when he was trying to tell Stone Cold that he needs to quit for a while because his neck was injured or something, and Austin appreciates that the World Wrestling Federation cares. I think that was the time. So, which all this leads into WrestleMania 1998. And it's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels. Great match. And of course, Shawn Michaels, we all knew was going to go out because he was hurt. Probably didn't know that at the time, but now it kind of made sense that, he was hurt and he was hurt. And of course, he was going to drop the belt because how hot Austin was at the time with the fans. Fans absolutely loved him. And Austin picked up the victory and became the champ. Really helped out that Mike Tyson was a special guest referee or enforcer. By far, epic contest. Of course, the next night, this belt retired. Yes, this championship retired. And you got a new title. And Mr. McMahon really wanted to change Stone Cold. He doesn't want him to be flipping people off and all this types of stuff. Really wants him to change and be kind of corporate wise. And I remember, he even had him dressed up in a suit and that, and Stone Cold had him take a picture of him being in a suit, because it was the last time you will ever see him wear that pathetic, nasty suit ever again. And he ripped it off. It was great. And then they had a match, which that's when Dude Love came into the picture. And of course, Dude Love joined forces with Mr. McMahon. And of course, the corporation was with Mr. McMahon at the time, really trying to get at Austin. So, Dude Love comes in, and I remember there was a match between Mr. McMahon and Stone Cold, and Mr. McMahon said, "You said you could beat Mr. McMahon with one arm tied behind your back." He made him tie the arm behind his back. No, the good hand! So he made him tie a hand behind his back. And anyway, Dude Love interferes, beats up Austin. At first was going for Mr. McMahon. And that took that feud off. Of course, I do believe the first match was Mr. McMahon and Dude Love's Corner. I think he was the special guest referee. But we're going to pick up from there next week. Next Friday, we will pick up from there. Continuing on the Mr. McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin feud. Because we're going to be doing this feud for a few weeks. So, if you missed any of my videos over this week, don't forget to go back and check them out. If you like this video, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, leave in your comments below what rivalry you would want me to talk about. I have not gotten too many comments about what rivalry y'all would want me to discuss. So let me know which rivalry you would want me to talk about. And until next time, this is Webby, and I'll catch you right back here Monday night for my Monday Night Raw review. I will have a very special guest. He's been on the show before. Barbara will be right back here on Monday Night Raw review. this Monday. Don't forget to check in for that. It'll be very entertaining. It will be very good. Until then, this is Webby. I'll catch you on the other side. Talk to you later.